G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 8 of the season. But before we get stuck into that, we're going to just have a little look at the ladder. And we've got Wiz 1998 on top of the table, sitting at 47. One clear of a few team members right here. But some even more juicier stuff as well is, have a look at this. We've got the 9 last week, so every single one right for me. I think I'm the only one that got 9. Don't know why I'm looking down towards the bottom of the table. Hopefully no one else got a 9, otherwise that would really sting. No, only one that got a 9, so finally get a few go my way and a couple of little upsets in there. Of course, you don't normally just pick 9 and it's all the favourites. Being able to pick the correct upsets is the hardest part of footy tipping. No doubt about that. So, yeah, very stoked with that. Guaranteed not to repeat the same this week. So we'll just have a little crack and see what we can sort of scrounge score-wise. But, yes, very, very happy with getting 9 out of 9. It probably happens once or twice a year for me, if that. So, happy to say the least. All right, let's have a look at Thursday night football for the start of round 8. We've got Essendon and North Melbourne. This one will be at Marvel Stadium, Thursday night footy, to get the round 8 proceedings underway. Gosh, this is tough because North were quite competitive against Port Adelaide. They went down. It was very close. They were very competitive. Weren't able to get the chocolates. The Bombers went down to the Pies. Ultimately, I think it was about 40 or so points there in the end. Have to go the Bombers here, just with what they've been able to produce. They've been, solid start to the year, with some decent wins in there. I think they're sitting at, 3. Oh, yeah, they've got at least 3 wins next to their name. I think they lost round 1, so they're sitting about 3-3. Maybe have had a bye in there. Yeah, just think they're slightly more accomplished than North Melbourne, but I mean, if North have a sniff, this is it. So they've got to make it count. I think it's going to be pretty close, so I'll go the Bombers by 8 points. And then, I think it'll be a close one. No doubt about that. Over to Friday night football. We've got St Kilda and Freo at Marvel, and the Saints were very disappointing against the Lions, has to be said. They lost by 45 points, but could have been a lot more. It was around that 45-point margin. And the Dockers were back in vogue and got a 3-goal win over the Crows, with Adelaide kicking some goals late in the game and Freo missing some chances. I mean, it's going to be tough to replicate what they did on the road, but if they're going to be a top 4 fancy or a finalist, which I think they are, they have to be winning this game. And I know the Saints will come out breathing fire. I know Ross will have a master plan for sure. But I just think the Dockers have more talent on their side, and if they get their clearance game and pressure game going and move freely with the ball, then they will win. And I'm optimistic that they can do that. Over to the Saturday afternoon game, and we've got Mars Stadium here. The Western Bulldogs hosting Port Adelaide. They usually play 1 or 2 games there a year. The Doggies had a very comprehensive win over the Giants. That one was at Manuka Oval. And Port Adelaide, they were a little bit flat against North, and North really came to play, and it was very, very close. I think it was, basically under 10 points in the end. With what the Dogs have been producing lately, and I've been tipping them quite regularly. I think they'll get the job done here at their home deck. Their form line's been really positive, really smooth, and I think they've just got slightly more weapons in that midfield to be able to get over the top of Port Adelaide. But it'll be a cracking contest, I'm sure. Over to Adelaide Oval, and we've got Adelaide facing Carlton. The Crows, let's see how they went. They went down by about 3 goals to Freo. They didn't stop fighting until the end. They missed a few chances late as well. But Dockers did all the damage early in the game. Carlton have won 3 in a row. Frustratingly, they've only beaten West Coast and North Melbourne over the last 12 or so games, and then they decide to come out and play like world beaters and beat Geelong in what was a pretty impressive victory, has to be said. Very frustrating from Cats fan perspective, but that's how it goes. So they're in really good form. They got the Cats done. I think it was about 3 goals in the end. I think it was about 19 points. Yep, 3 goals exactly. A couple of 3-goal, a couple of 3-goal games either side of the coin there. I am happy to go with the Crows. I think they'll win comfortably, and the Blues will go back to where they belong. So I think, the Crows will be too strong at home, playing some really good footy. Albeit they've had a couple of losses, hopefully not 3 in a row. They have lost 3 out of their last 4, but they have played, some pretty tough sides. Over to the West, we've got West Coast, and they are hosting Melbourne. The Eagles went down to the Hawks. They kept trying. I think it was about 5 or so goals in the end to the favour of the Hawks. And then Melbourne had Richmond for company on their Anzac Day Eve clash. 20-point win there. Got the job done. I'm going to go Melbourne in a very close game. Although, Eagles have a brilliant opportunity. Melbourne just starting to get going, turning the gears correctly in the right way. Looking good. I think, the Eagles still have a bit of work to do. They did get the game on their terms last year, and Harley Reid was pushing off Petrarca and Oliver and everyone. I think Melbourne a little bit too strong, more system and more discipline. Hopefully with some cavalry coming back from the defensive side of things. But, I think the D's will be just a little bit too strong. But betting it to be a close one. Gamble responsibly. Over to the Saturday night game, we've got Collingwood and Geelong MCG going to be the big stage. Fingers crossed Hutto's commentating this one, but it'll probably be Matt Hill, to be fair, or Howie will probably commentate the game. But, you got to get Hutto on for this one. All right, Collingwood, they've been in supreme form since round 0. After they lost to the Giants, it's been perfect stripes since. They got a good win over the Bombers, about 40 points thereabouts, as mentioned. The Cats went down to the Blues by about 3 goals in the end. Cats will get Brian Myers back. Don't know about anyone else, but Henry will still be out for a while. Don't know what Cole Jasny will be up to, but... anyway, the Pies, looking really, really promising. I think their system stacks up. They've been conceding under 60 points a game, or on average under 60 points a game since after round 0. The Cats' game is in relatively good stead, although the inside midfield role outside of Tom Atkins needs some serious work. I think the Pies are a bit more well-rounded at the moment and a little bit more reliable than the Cats. Dare I say, we'll give them a good run for their money, but I think, the Pies have too many weapons and probably slightly less reliance on the absolute stars to perform, where they've got just a well-rounded system in Geelong. It's not quite firing in the midfield, on the inside midfield battle there, and there's several players out of form in the forward line, albeit back line setting up quite well, but could get interesting. I think Collingwood too strong. Over to the Sunday games, we've got Sydney at the SCG, and they are hosting the GWS Giants. Battle of the Bridge. Sydney went down to the Suns. I think it was about 37 points or so in the end. And GWS, very similar margin to the Bulldogs. Going down in that clash as well. So, very interesting to see how this one pans out. I don't know when Errol Goulden's back. I'm sure he's going to be back in probably 3 to 6 weeks or something like that. But they're severely missing his... drive and run from the wing inside the contest as well. Giants were poor against the Dogs. They're pretty good at responding. Sydney, maybe not capable of responding as maybe they once were with the personnel they got available. I'm going to go the GWS Giants to get the job done. They're really good backs to the wall, and even when they haven't been playing their best footy, they seem to somehow find an extra gear when it's required. Over to the Hawks and the Tigers at the MCG. Hawthorn had a solid win over the Eagles. Actually, I think it was about 50 points in the end. I think it was like 5 goals and they kicked a couple late. So it wasn't pretty, but they got the chocolates. And then over to the Tigers. They went down to the D's, 20 points thereabouts as mentioned again. Have to go the Hawks here. They're ball movement, their system stacks up pretty well. Tigers obviously rebuilding. Nothing's impossible though in this game, but yeah, pure probability you would back in the horse to get the chocolates and get the 4 points. Over to the final game of the round, and what a cracker we have right here. We have Brisbane and Gold Coast. It's a Sunday night game. That's going to finish very late at the Gabba. Lions had a pretty comfortable win over the Saints. That one was at Marvel, and Gold Coast were in trouble against the Swans, but they were able to wrench away in that third term and just absolutely go into fifth gear and put the Swannies away. So it was a very comprehensive win in the end and a great turnaround. I'll have to go Brisbane at home, although, Gold Coast haven't beaten absolute top-tier quality opposition just yet, and they're a different beast at home. They're like a 7-goal better side at home. But this is the big league. This is the big time against the top 4 side and the reigning premier. I think, Gold Coast had a game last year. I think Brisbane had 5 or so injuries and ACLs left, right and centre in this game, and they found a way to win. That was at the Gabba. In a do-or-die clash, and I think Brisbane will be professional enough to get the job done. Played a good 4-quarter game against the Saints and just starting to roll. Okay, that is it for round 8, guys. I've gone Essendon, Fremantle, the Western Bulldogs, Adelaide, Melbourne, Collingwood, GWS, Hawthorn and Brisbane to round out round 8. Okay, that's all from me, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and once again, stoked that I got 9 out of 9 last week. I'll just give that one last go. And, hopefully you guys go well this week. Comment who you think's going to win over the weekend. Comment any upsets that you think are likely to happen this weekend. Any danger games, banana peel games that you've got coming up for your club. Let us know in the comments. Get the video a like if you enjoyed the tips for this week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will catch you on the next video.